11%.
You're still watching Joy News here on the Joy News channel, I beg your pardon, and we are live from our studios here located at Kokonrimle, and we will go back to Parliament as and when they are ready. We shall connect with them and give you more updates. And of course, the minority, as it stands now, we do know is in sharp division because of the new appointment given by way of leadership by the party. And we have Honorable Muntaka Mubarak getting ready to address the press on the back of the appointment, newly appointment made by the party. So we understand the feed is ready. Let's connect now.
I'm sorry for keeping you waiting for this long. We just finished the caucus meeting, which was addressed by our leader, the minority, the Honorable Haruna Jisu, and to try to take you through the unfortunate happenings in the caucus. We, at the caucus meeting, resolved that we need to get a former leader, a senior one, to talk about the issues, but me to just introduce them. One, what warranted this press, because there's so much happening, people are not hearing from the leadership and the caucus as a group, and we needed to, what do you call it, speak to the issues as they are, and to try as hard as possible to keep the cohesion of the caucus. And without wasting time, I will introduce Honorable Vetus Abuka, a former leader, and ask the caucus mate and agree that he should speak to take us through. And then when questions come, all of us will try to answer to the best that we can. So I will call on Honorable Abuka to speak to the issues as agreed at the caucus. So Honorable Claudius.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen of the Inky fraternity, the press. As you are no doubt aware, there have been certain happenings in the NDC caucus front in Parliament. And we, some of us met today and then decided to draw the attention of our national executive on the way to sort out these matters. We would have been many more than this. About 70 people have signed a petition that we are going to summarize to you. But some of them had consented, even though they are still in their constituencies and are not yet here. Even this morning when we met, we were about 40 who met in the auditorium to take this, to concretize on this decision. And then, so it's a very short press conference that we are going to indicate. Let us start from the very word go, that we have confidence in our national executive and we respect them as such. But a few days ago, our attention has been drawn to a letter addressed to the Speaker of Parliament, indicating that the leadership of the minority caucus has been reshuffled. We are on recess. By the Speaker's invitation, we are returning on the 7th of February 2023. So we are not yet in the House. But because of the exigencies of this situation, that is why some of us have rushed back to be able to participate in this. Against that background too, is when the Speaker reads the letter to Parliament, the letter he has received from the Secretary of the party that indicating the reshuffle. It is when that letter is read to members of the House that it can take effect. As at now, we are already said we are not there. So as far as we are concerned, the current leaders of the House, Honorable Haruna Idris, Muntaka and co, are deemed to still be in office. Now, the purpose of this press conference, as I've indicated, is to try to maintain cohesion in the party, is to try to ensure that we remain as a body, that we still are an appealing group to the Ghanaian populace, and that they should trust us for December 2024. So our petition is going to the Council of Elders of the NDC. We are petitioning the Council of Elders of the NDC with a copy to the National Executive, with a copy to the Speaker of Parliament, and a copy of the said petition to the former flag bearer, Honorable John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. The basis for our petition is a prayer to suspend the reshuffle indicated by the National Executive of the party until such time, signed by the General Secretary of the party. The petition is signed by the General Secretary of the party. The basis of our petition is to appeal to them to suspend the suspension exercise until such time that there's a holistic meeting of stakeholders and consultation before we take a decision. We are saying so against the backdrop that the National Executive Committee of the party a few weeks ago decided that all appointees in the party and in Parliament should remain in office until after we have concluded the parliamentary primaries and the flag bearer primaries on the 13th of May this year. That all office holders and appointees should remain in office until the primaries are over. We are therefore surprised that the primaries are not yet taken place, they are not yet over, and a reshuffle is hitting the caucus of Parliament. We think that that is premature. We have also investigated and discovered that the Functional Executive Committee, FEC, and the National Executive Committee, NEC, including the Council of Elders, did not have a formal meeting to take a decision on this matter. And then, of course, the caucus as a body was not consulted on this matter. And we think that that is quite not well in place. It is against the backdrop of this that we are humbly appealing to the National Executive of the party that they should suspend their current action and let the current officers, Haruna and his team, remain in office until such time that the primaries are over and we have a holistic stakeholder consultation before we decide on the way forward. In that case, the current executive that we, as I said, that are still in office should remain in office and steer the affairs of the caucus until such time that we advise ourselves. We want to pledge our support to the party. We are committed to the party. We are committed to the focus of the caucus to assist the party in the coming elections in December 2024 so that we can form government. So we are saying this without prejudice to the merits of those who have been appointed. No. We know that we are all members of Parliament, we are all competent. Dr. Foster Ato, and then Kwame Aboja, and then Ama Abua are very good parliamentarians. We have nothing against them. We trust them. But we are saying that the timing is not appropriate. The timing for a reshuffle now is not appropriate. And that the consequences are very, very grave for us and could negatively affect our fortunes come December 2024. It is against this background, the fact that there was no adequate and proper consultation within the ranks of the party, that we think that they should reconsider and suspend the current reshuffle until such time that we hold a meeting. Thank you very much.
Well, just to add, colleagues, just to add that we are equally concerned that the letters that were issued were not the decision of the party. Our party, as NDC, has about 4 decision-making group structures. First, the Congress, where all delegates meet to take decision. Second is the National Executive Committee, that's NEC. And then third is the Functional Executive Committee. It is when this group take decision, then you get the General Secretary and the principal officers implement. Then we also have the Council of Elders, even though our constitution says that they are advisory. Sometimes, periodically, they also give directions and then the party tries to implement. We are firm, because I serve as on FEC, I serve on NEC, I go to Council of Elders as an observer, and I'm also on the political committee as an observer. Congress, all of us as members of Parliament are members of Congress. And the minority leader is also on all these levels. at no such meeting was there any agenda to discuss this. So it is clear that it is a letter, yes, written by the General Secretary, but the decision may be just the decision of some few people in the party. And we believe that our party should sit up, because Article 55 of the 1992 Constitution is very clear. It says that everything that we do must follow democratic principles. So we want to urge the General Secretary, and the most shocking part of it is that we were never consulted. I mean, I heard some of the officers saying that some elders were sent to talk to us. I'll be very happy to mention which elder was sent to me to talk to me, because nobody spoke to me. And without casting any insinuation and also creating doubt on the capability of our colleagues, Honorable Atufosin, Honorable Kwame Agoja, and Honorable Amako Fibua. These are our colleagues. I mean, we've been working very closely together, those of you who report from this house. And myself, Honorable Aveji, and the leader himself, Honorable Aruedisu, we will have to be grateful to this caucus. Any day they decide that, oh, we've had enough of you, maybe we want to change direction, we want to change energy, we want to change steam, we will be thankful for the opportunity given us. Because how were we put into office? I'll just recap. In 2021, the party led by the then national chairman, Honorable Ofosu Ampofo, and the General Secretary came to our caucus meeting. They came and the names were sealed, so suggested names. And I remember very well, the first question they asked the General Caucus was, do you want to retain your leadership or you want to change them? And there was a row, applause, that no, we want to maintain them. Even that, they said they wanted to be sure, because there were some other names that were also coming up. Each regional caucus was asked to go back and, having the names that had come up, consider what their choice, seal it in an envelope and give it to the national party, which is exactly what happened. So it was taken to the political committee, it was summarized, and then there was another caucus meeting to announce the decision from the various 16 regional caucuses. I want to say that this is consultation, and this is the caucus electing its leaders. I'm sorry to say that you have youth organizers in our party, they meet to elect their leaders. Women organizers meet to elect their leaders. And it is shocking for parliamentarians to be told that leaders are chosen for them. I have served, this was my third term in the leadership. There was not a single time that I was written to that I've been appointed as so and so to serve in any capacity in parliament. If the caucus decide to change a whip and bring another person, why wouldn't I give the same person the kind of support? But we need to do it properly. We just don't jump the gun and we don't do things the way it is done. Thank you.
Introduce yourself first. GBC. Allow him. Yes. Short one.
Just for emphasis, I want to currently, who is the minority leader?
Honorable Aruedisu is the minority leader in
And
the
then
state.
the second person go to the police. What listen to the argument all over? Just that the leader has mentioned the process leading to your appointment. It was clear in the air from the authority that appointed new leaders can do. There's no process in or electing, there's not a consultation. Now there's nothing in your constitution that states that for leadership parliament to be appointed, there must be a process. Do you foresee that there must be a process within the constitution? That if you don't have it at all.
Well, for the constitution, I've referred you to Article 55 for maybe for the avoidance.
The NDC constitution.
Maybe for the avoidance.
It's subservient. It takes its authority from the national constitution.
The
National Constitution.
1992 Constitution for you.
Yeah, he knows it already. Yeah, just go ahead.
I just wanted to read it, but then the lawyer will just speak.
Okay, I thank you very much for the question. As the minority chief whip has just indicated, the 1992 Constitution is a fundamental law of the land. And it provides in Article 55, I think clause 5, 4 and 5, that every political party must conduct its internal affairs in conformance with democratic principles.
As enshrined in the Constitution.
As enshrined in this Constitution. And so, I think the party constitution has not set out the processes and procedures for the appointment of leadership of parliament. There is a reliance on a 7, which basically, defines the minority leader. And it says that the minority leader is the person designated by the parties. Okay, so the word to designate is appoint, right? I mean, it means to appoint. Okay, but the standing orders do not also provide any procedure at all with respect to how you appoint the leadership. So the party has been relying on precedent, and I think that the minority chief whip, has outlined some of the procedures and processes that have been relied upon in the past. He told you about what happened in 2021, where regional caucuses were asked to go back and vote, and put their votes in sealed envelopes and sent to party head office for purposes of determining who became, the leader. Even that was after the party came and consulted us, and we unanimously said we wanted to retain the leadership. Now, as far as this letter that we are talking about is concerned, I mean, there has been no meeting whatsoever between the minority caucus and the party head office. No meeting whatsoever. So even if there was a meeting, for us to be able to say that we agree to the decision that you are taking, but these are our concerns, or we have no concerns at all, that is what we are calling for. Some of us think, and I'm not sitting here because of Muntaka. I am not sitting here because of Haruna Idrisu. In fact, I am not against Atufosin. Neither am I against Amabua. I'm not against Honorable Agboja. They are all my colleagues. But I'm here on the basis of principle. The principle of consultation which has been established, okay, by the party in the selection of parliamentary leadership cannot be abandoned, in this manner. And the fact that a letter written to Mr. Speaker by the General Secretary without the endorsement of FEC, without the endorsement of NEC, is dressed as a decision of the party. Now remember that I refer to orders, 7. It says designated by the party. That letter is not a letter of the party. And I'm saying that from a legal technical point of view, it is not a letter of the party. And so if there has to be a letter from the party, then there has to be a meeting of FEC. The matter has to be tabled and a decision taken, and the principal officers can then be told or instructed by FEC to implement that decision, to convey the decision to Mr. Speaker. So this is all that I can say. Some of us are fighting on the basis of principle. We think that what has happened is an affront to the dignity of the caucus. It is not about personalities. Thank you very much.
Follow up on that. Leader, Muntaka, you told us how in 2021 you were retained. The public will be interested in 2017. What happened? How were you appointed? Was it by this regional, the party took a decision? Let's educate the public.
Well, let's start from 2013. That's when I became a whip. We met at then the regional minister's residence. All Greater Accra regional minister. All the MPs were there. I remember the then chairman, Dr. Kobuneji, was there. The current national chairman, the general secretary, was also there. And you were then the outgoing leader. Names were mentioned one after the other. Then discussions will go on and then affirm. That's how it was done. So there was this detailed consultation before it was announced. Then 2017, the same thing. We came to a caucus meeting at the job station auditorium, DFNA auditorium, and all those discussions happened there. Yes,
Okay, my colleague is reminding that it was on 4th January, on the 4th of January. So all these discussions happened at the auditorium for us to conclude that these are our leaders. So what we are asking is that what has changed so that we have this letter flying. Now, I can tell you in 2013 when I was made a government whip or majority whip, even though the party hierarchy were there or all this guy, nobody gave me a letter. In 2017 when I was to be retained and Haruna Idrisu and Co had to leave, nobody gave me a letter. In 2021 when these discussions and even the regional workers thing all happened, nobody gave me a letter. So how come now letters are being written? Where is that? Why are we instead of improving the system? I mean, rather pushing away an established procedure that we ourselves have established. And let me add, on the 18th of November in 2021, after the last caucus, because some members raised concerns that we need to formalize the way we do the election of leadership within the caucus. So we wrote a letter. The minority leader wrote this letter on the 18th of November 2021 to the party general secretary. And with your permission, I'll just read. It says, rules of party. I am pleased to forward here with the rules of party as a legal framework document for the management of the NDC parliamentary caucus. It considers for the grievances, organization, and conduct of business of the National Democratic NDC parliamentary caucus, which is one integral organ of the party. The rules of the party will help maintain discipline within the caucus and strengthen the relationship between the party and the caucus in Parliament. The rules are accordingly submitted for your information and attention of Congress. So this was on, on the 18th of November 2021. And this was after a visit to the House of Commons and then the Capitol Hill in the US to see how they do it. And you see that that was communicated to the party. So we are surprised that this action is being taken the way and the form and the manner it is being done. And let me say this maybe lastly. Most of our colleagues that are being drawn into trying to divide us, we should be very careful because we have a party that must win 2024 election. And it is not about the Haruna Idrisu-led administration. Neither is it about those that are being mentioned to take over. It is about the principle. If that principle, our party sits and allow that with a greater respect, just some few individuals who act without the party's own structures, then we are all we'll all be in danger. Because then when we win, when by the grace of God we win power, is it how decisions are going to be taken? I don't think that's how we want to act. And then because our national constitutions will also mandate us to adhere at all times to the democratic principles, it is only fair that if we are making these complaints, it is because we want to keep the principle. And I can assure you, I will pledge 100%. If this process is taken through our caucuses, the caucus takes the decision, we will support whoever will take. Well, yes. So we want to thank you sincerely.
Honorable, sorry, I just want to just just last final one, so that per your okay. My name is Joseph Armstrong. My name is Joseph Armstrong from TV3. So based on the petition you have forwarded, and should it stay and they refuse to heed to your demands, how do you see the NDC come 2024? Do you see it's going to affect you greatly? And also, if I may come personal, do you think you have the General Secretary and also that of the National Chairman have a personal issue with you, sir?
No, we don't want to answer that. I mean, if you say you are going to go into the issue of personal, that would drain the focus. And I want to doubt whether Council of Elders will not act on a 70.
Wait. We don't want to go into speculation.
Yes, that's right.
We shouldn't go into speculation as to the outcome of our petition. Let's get to the end of that before we know what to do. Thank you.
I think it's a similar question. I'm Henry Kwesibedu. I work with Metro TV. I wanted to know what will be your next line of action, because it looks like the new leadership.
We will advise ourselves.
Okay.
We will advise ourselves.
So we thank you sincerely for your
Thank you so
comment.
much.
We are grateful.
You are welcome.
So, leadership, Honorable Muntaka Mubarak. The new leadership of Dr. Kisela Tuforsen and his team, they say that they are still supporting Muntaka Haruna Idrisu and their leadership. They also say that they believe that they are sending a petition to the Council of Elders of the party, and that the basis of the petition is to suspend the reshuffle on such a time that there is a holistic meeting to decide on such matters. They are also saying that the party has extended the mandate of some organs in the party. They should do same with Parliament and hold consultative meetings with both factions before they can come to such a decision. They are also making some significant claims here. They say that they are not aware that the party's NEC or FEC or any organ of the party, for that matter, has met on this matter. And so this letter that is coming from the General Secretary, Fifi Kwete, appears to be from only him or just from a few people within the executive and not from the party. This Shazam is going to continue. Just gone by, we also showed you that press conference organized from the party headquarters by the chairman, the general secretary, and the new leadership of the minority, who we are told are just going to head to the Speaker of Parliament's residence to, as it were, call on him and introduce themselves, apart from the party's introduction. So there is great division as we speak now in the NDC minority, and this is going to go on for some time. But this is how we will end this coverage for now. We're going to follow that meeting to the Speaker of Parliament residence, get some more reactions, and then we will come back to you. Trust and stay with Joy News to get all the elements and all the angles to this fast developing story about this chasm within the NDC.
My colleague Kweku Asante bringing us live update from Parliament, and I've got great minds on the political desk to help us appreciate what's just transpired over the past couple of minutes now. Evans Mensah and Winston Amwa joins me in studio. Grateful guys, you could join us now. What really transpired? Break it down for us. Why are we seeing this, Evans?
Look, this is another very bad history that has just been played out. Bad for the NDC. If you're the MPP right now, you're on the ropes for the last few days and months because of the economy. You should be sipping on some nice cognac, watching this play out. Because you just can't understand why the NDC has pressed the self-destruct button at the time when your biggest opponent, short of 2 years on election, is on the ropes. So what had just happened? First of all, where do I even start? I haven't seen this before. You have a situation now where you have two separate press conferences, literally at the same time, by the two very entrenched positions in the party. Leadership of the NDC decide to appoint new leaders in Parliament, removing the old crop. Today, you have the two groups. So we have now a clear line of division in the party. Standing on one side of that line is the leadership of the party, Asidun Ketia, the General Secretary, and others who were recently elected. And on the other side is Haruna Idrisu, Muntaka Mubarak, and 70 members of the NDC in Parliament, 70 MPs on the NDC side in Parliament. That is a strong number against a crop of leaders who were just elected. Unfortunately, in the midst of all this, the people I feel very sad for are Atuforsen, Agboja, and who else? Amakofi-Boa. Because no fault of theirs, somebody decides to make a change and thrust them in the middle of this confusion. Now they are having to come up against their own colleagues in Parliament, which you've just heard. When have you ever seen one party, two different press conferences, one group saying, we don't recognize the authority of Asidun Ketia and Fifi Kwete to appoint and change our leaders? Then the next press conference, I still didn't get Fifi and others say, well, we made appointment. And that appointment will confirm to you in a Tuesday meeting. But this is what really, for me, struck me from the conversation that we've just had. So within the press conference addressed by Cletus Avoka. Cletus Avoka was once the majority leader when the NDC were in power, right?
Yeah.
So this is a very senior person. Yeah. And then you had a former Deputy Attorney General interpret the NDC's party's constitution. Well, I think he read the national constitution, which was superior to the NDC's, and says every political party, its internal operations must be democratic. So stressing the point that the appointment that has been done is not democratic. And then you have, Fifi Kwete and co saying, well, we made the appointment, we can't. What really is the issue? I'm just trying to pull up the NDC's party's constitution to see whether the Fifi Kwete and co really have their own constitutional legal backing to do this. And I think they will struggle to justify this on the basis of their own constitution. Let's start first with the official letter that communicated the appointments to the speaker. And in there, the leadership, Fifi Kwete signed it, tell us the authority behind the appointments. The authority, they say, the national leadership of the National Democratic Congress wishes to formally bring to your notice the following changes. The authority here is national leadership of the National Democratic Congress. Let me say humbly that there's nothing in the NDC constitution that says national leadership. The NDC constitution has no group of authority or no recognition for this term called national leadership in terms of making such very fundamental decisions. It recognizes a fixed group of individuals coming together to form bodies that have the authority to make decisions, and that series of organs of the party does not include national leadership. However, it includes National Congress, Special National Delegates Congress, National Executive Committee, Functional Executive Committee, and Council of Elders. So if the letter to the speaker had said any one of these, right, instead of national leadership of the national, had said National Executive Committee, right, then clearly, constitutionally, there would have been a properly mandated body clothed with the authority to make the decision. They didn't cite any of that, right? Yeah. So that clearly then begins to create the constitutional problem. But I begin to see why they may have that challenge, right, to do that. Because as we've heard, there is also the Functional Executive Committee. And that Functional Executive Committee's job is responsible for the overall administration of the affairs of the party in between National Executive Committee meetings. Okay. So when Asiodun Keta and his colleagues meet, that's the National Executive Committee with all the leaders, etc. Post that, after that, then they can also have a Functional Executive Committee that then makes big decisions. But here's the thing. That committee's membership includes the leader of the party in parliament. Okay. Right? So if they were supposed to meet to make the decision, then it would have included Aaron Edrisu, who you want to remove. Right? And 2 members of parliament who are members of the National Executive Committee. But if you believe what we've been told, that this is part of an agenda that was executed to remove Aaron Edrisu, why would you call the National Functional Executive Committee Winston? Yeah. Where Aaron Edrisu will be part to say you're removing him. Yeah. So it throws out very interesting, permutations and dynamics here. But I'm saying, I really feel very sad for my good friend Dr. Atufo and the rest, because really this has thrust them. And you heard the former Deputy Attorney General say, I am not opposed to Dr. Atufo. I'm not opposed to Kwame Agboja. I'm not opposed to Amakofi Boa. They are my colleagues. I have nothing against them. But on principle, something has gone wrong, and they can't stand with that. And so until you satisfy the constitutional dictates, this is going to be a very big problem for the NDC. Winston,
I don't know what the future holds for the NDC in this regard, because it's getting murky.
Oh, some of these things happen in political parties. I've always indicated that if you look at the NPP happenings of 2015, for instance, a lot of people may have written the NPP off. But of course, this is different from what happened in the NPP. in the sense that here you're finding members of parliament. The only good thing from an NDC point of view would be the fact that Dr. Ayine says we are not against anybody. What we are against is the process. And now that you've heard the General Secretary say we're going to confirm to you. Now, confirm could come in diverse forms, for instance. You could probably say confirm would be that this is just a temporary decision and now we are now about to make it, formal, or we'll make it permanent. You could also argue that this is just to move to you and say, you're appealing to us, you're saying, we're appealing to you, reconsider, your decision, but we're coming to you to tell you that, no, we're not going to reconsider our decision. We're going to tell you that this is the final decision, and there's an affirmation of a point we've made previously, and so that's the end of it. But you see, whatever happens, there are some that you hear make the point that this is clearly because of the procedure. There are others who would also be attached to individuals, but when you're an opposition party, one of the first things you'd have to look out for is that, what do I do to win power? Whatever you do, there's an ultimate aim, and that ultimate aim would be winning power. I think that may be the NDC's aim. Unfortunately for them, they may not have gone around this very well. So, for instance, if you want to remove your minority leadership, if you want to change them, for instance, you could have held a meeting with them, first of all, and say, guys, you know what, we think that where we're getting to, you have to step aside. They may disagree initially. Then you say, but we believe that we need to get somebody who's going to be giving a lot more time in Parliament, who's going to be the leader because of the economy. Some of the reasons that they're giving right now, for instance. Then you would say, okay, how about I throw in the towel and I say, I am resigning as minority leader. That's an option that could have been taken by the NDC, for instance.
Certainly.
Now, what is happening now, you're seeing a situation where, you're seeing a power play here. Now, members of Parliament are telling you, no, you have to involve us. You should have consulted us. You're seeing the party saying, no, we have the power, and we've taken a decision. That, for me, is where the challenge starts from. But I think that now that they say they're going to see the speaker, and the speaker may speak to, the NDC caucus, the speaker would be able to calm things down.
No, that meeting with the speaker, it's not to get him to intervene in the conflict.
Of course.
It's in furtherance of their conviction.
Yes, but you see,
to get the blessing of the speaker.
Exactly.
To confirm.
But you see that this speaker is speaker because of the NDC.
True.
And this speaker, let's be very honest, while he's talked about the fact that he's speaker for Ghana, not speaker for the NDC, we've seen it in times past. You've been in Parliament, I have been in Parliament. You've seen, for instance, speakers sometimes being frustrated when their side is not doing the right thing. So what really matters is that for the NDC, when John Mahama said he could have had a speaker, on the 8th of December 2020, when he said he could have been ruling from the back, these are some of the things that we were talking about. The speaker would have a role to play. The speaker may speak to them. But
so what's your expectation of the speaker is to say that what?
Well, if the speaker accepts the letter and announces it on the floor, that's it.
Exactly.
That's it. But if the speaker refuses to announce it on the floor,
I guess
then that's
certainly is a big issue. We'll definitely follow in our subsequent.
That creates more challenges, really.
Yeah. Grateful, guys, you could join me here on the Joy News channel. So this has been our coverage. There will be more in our subsequent bulletins, especially on polls. We just want to stay with Joy News. Grateful serving you. I am Pius Kujubaka. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.
Give them 360.
Ghanaians are doing it out here. I wish we would celebrate them as much as we do, or as they deserve back at home as well. Like they always say, a prophet is not really respected in his home. So I hope that's not going to be our case forever. Let's appreciate what we have. Sometimes how you celebrate what you have is what will make other people appreciate it too. And right now the whole world is coming to Ghana. Why? We have something they don't have. Let's really think about it. It's not always about the money. It's how we can leverage what we have, the peace we have, and blow it out of proportion and make money out of it. I said Nigerian blogger said something. He said Ghanaians have peace, but they don't have love for each other. I hated it when I heard it, but it started looking real to me more than ever. Like we're seeing people on social media just talking about other people's personal lives, women insulting each other and all that. Where's that going to take us? Right? Let's use this opportunity to blow people up, get our artists out there, encourage them. Artists, don't let it get into your head. Ghana is too small. There's more out there. Like blow out.